Welcome back to this particular video. In this particular video, we'll be talking about mockup, and I'll be showing you guys how I did some of the things I did. And if there is anything that you're trying to go through in the main videos and you're unable to do it and you saw it in my own designs, just simply ask and I'll make a video and I'll add it to the materials as well. Now, in this particular video, I want to recreate this particular price range that I created, right, that I added to the wireframe, because the last time that I was talking about the wireframe, I shared about the search page, and you could see that in the search page I did this price range, right, and I want to recreate it. I'm doing a video about it so that I will get to know how I definitely did create that particular price range. Now over here on the search page where I have actually done the mockup, of course I've done the mockup of the search page. I've added pictures and edited some of the text a little bit. Then right here you could see where I added the price range. I could actually even swing, I prototyped it a little bit, right, but don't worry, I'll be covering all of this. I can actually stretch it as well and stretch it back for as well, and so on and so forth, right? So so that is it. So let's go ahead and basically recreate this. So for me to recreate this, I would just draw a simple artboard by this side of my wireframe, and I'll just create a simple desktop artboard. Of course, let's just create a simple desktop artboard here, which I'm going to delete after this particular video. So I have this particular artboard here. So let's say this is where my page will be. Let me give it our regular background color. This is where my page will be, and my range will be inside this particular page. So for me to create my range, the first thing I want to create is those the range slide bars. I'm talking about this particular range here, right? These two circular stuff, right? So that's the first I'm going to create. So for me to create that, I'm going to draw on my line tool and probably create a line of create a line, a straight line of, let's say, not about 290 or 292 thereabout. With that measurement, actually I'll give it a stroke of 5. Then I'll give it a gray color, right, and I would also give it rounded edge, so that it's going to have like round edge by the edge actually, but it doesn't really matter, we are not really going to use this. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate it by Ctrl D. So I'm using Ctrl D right now. Ctrl D if you're on Windows, or Mac, or Command D if you're on Mac, right? So I do that, I duplicate it here. So the top one, so let's call this bottom, just to be sure. Let's call this bottom, and let's call the second line, let's call it what? Let's call it top. So this particular top one, I'm going to make it like full black, right? So that's full black. So the reason why I'm making it full black, because that'll be the one that will be stretching, right? So for example now, if I hold alternate on my keyboard and I stretch it like this, and I stretch it, I'm holding alternate by stretching, so I to stretch by on both edges. So if I hold alternate and stretch, you could see how far this guy is actually going, right? So basically that's it. So let's stretch it a little bit again. I'm holding alternate and shift to ensure that it's on a straight line, alternate to ensure that it is actually resizing on both edge equally. So I'll stretch it and probably just drop it here, right? So this is what we have. So the next thing I want to do now, I want to draw a circular object. So I'll click on the ellipse tool and I'll draw a circular shape here now, and I'll give this, let's say, like 15. So let it be like 15 all through. Then I'll give it like full black, and I'll bring it here and ensure it's actually at the middle. Let's ensure that stuff is at the middle, right? How do we do that? Okay, no, not that. This actually, so it's not really giving me that feeling. All right, so that's the feeling. So yep, so it's at the middle now of the whole thing. So I can just drop it here. Then I'll duplicate it. I'm holding alternate to duplicate, so I drag it and I drop it here. So you could see now we have something that look more or less like this particular range right now, right? So the next thing I want to do, I will draw a frame. I want all of them to be inside a frame, so that frame I'll call it range. So I'll drop a frame like this, and they will all be inside this particular frame now. So that's the frame. You could see that it's inside this particular frame. So this frame 12, let me name it to range. So that's our range frame. and I'll give it a height of 15, of course. Oops, it's all of this stuff. I want all of this to be inside of it. Ctrl Z. I'm coming. Let's give this frame a color, so I will be seeing what we are doing. So let's stretch. Let's put all of this stuff to the top. Let's ensure they are here. All right, perfect. All right. So that's it basically. So I think I've moved this one unknown to me. So let me readjust it. All right, exactly. So that's what we're talking about, right? So our frame, I can easily adjust this line now, ensure that it's touching the edge of both sides. Yeah, I want it to be touching the edge of both sides actually. Yep, so that's the point. So this other one too, we can also stretch it to touch the edge as well. You know that everything is fine, but if it's touching the edge, then this other one here should be aligned to the edge, then aligned to the edge as well. Then now, in order for us to make this, we need to make this responsive. In order for us to make this a little bit responsive in a way, we need to add like constraints, right? So this one on the constraint will be left, to be right, then this other cycle, it will be left as well. So that when we select the range frame and we do this, we could see that it's following it, right? Ctrl Z. But one more thing, this stop now, we need to constrain it to left and right, and the bottom as well, we need to constrain it to what? Left and right. So the both line left and right constraint, this left one top left, this also top right. So now if I select this stop and I stretch it like this, let's say I want to stretch it like this, stretch it to this particular point, then this one now I can just move it manually a bit. I'm coming. Alright, I've moved it manually a bit like this. Now if I resize this range frame so it goes like this, right? So you could see that it is actually really responsive, and it is definitely resizing well, right? So something like this is what we want to achieve. See, it's resizing well. So since we have this now, we have like an amazing frame going on here, an amazing range going on here. In fact, this is just like the hard work. So I'm going to take out the fill. I basically don't want the fill of the range frame, right? So with this now, I have created like an amazing range that is responsive. So the next thing that will be left for us now is to create the card by adding this price, apply, and this $sign over here, right? So that's the next thing that we want to do. So once I want to do that now, I would go ahead and I will create another range, another frame like this. I'll put it here and ensure that I inside it now. So I will call this, I'll give this a fill. Let's give it white, and give it radius of let's say like 20 or thereabout, or 30. Let's make it 30. But 30 is too much. Let's make it 20. All right, 20 is cool. Then what we could do this is to give it auto layout. Just permit me to give it auto layout and give it 20, right? Then I'll take off the auto layout. I definitely don't want it to have auto layout actually, so just doing that. So I'll do this now. So once we have this, let's call this one range card, for example, range card. So this is where I'm going to add apply. So I'm going to add stuff like this. I'm going to write I'm going to write price, and yep, so I'll give it price, and I could leave it at this, or let me give it H4 price and ensure it's spelled well. Okay, price like this. Then let's drag this one down. Let's ensure that this one is around here as well, right? Everything is happening well. So let's try this 13. Ensure that the spacing between it is 20 of course. Then this could be 10. Alright, 10 is perfect. So the way we'll have this price now, I'm going to drag this to the edge. Then this now, I'm going to call this one apply. and I'm going to show that it is aligned to the left. Apply, then I'll give it like a body tag or so. Then I could reduce the width to show that, okay, at the end of the day, this particular color, let me click apply again. This particular color is going to be a link color, right? So yep, so this is it. So let's stretch this frame a little bit. So as you can see, we already have something that looks like this. Let me stretch this. We already have something that looks like this. Now the next thing that we need to add is this particular word. As you can see, it's moving from 0 to, this is 10,000, this is 9,000, right? 10, 9, it's moving by 100, right? This one is also moving by 100 as well. So let's do that now. Let's do the counter, like the price range itself. So this will be a little bit tricky because the way I'm going to do this now is going to differ a little bit, but before I do that, let's ensure that this stuff is actually aligning. So this should be to the left, to the right, I mean this to be to the left as well. Then this now should be, this particular range should be what, left and right. All right, so now if we resize this, now this is what resizable and it is fully responsive. You could see that, right? So that's what we're talking about. So the next thing I want to do now is the range, is the price range. So let's do that. So once I want to do that now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a text and I'm going to put $. I'm going to say 100 here. Let's make this our body text and give it another lighter color, something like this. Okay, this is cool. So once I have something like this now, I would ensure that it is, of course, aligned to the left. Then I'll do this, perfect, and I'll make this $100. Then I'll select both of them together. I would apply auto layout to it, and it is 0, of course. And I will call this particular auto layout my from. Let's call it from. Later we could change the name. Then I will duplicate this like 10 times. I'll duplicate like 10 times. I get to $1,000. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Then this is going to be worth $200. This is going to be worth $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800. Okay, 1,000. All right, this is cool. So once I have something like this, let me duplicate this. Use alternate. I will call this one 2. Then this is coming from $1,000 to, this is coming from $1,000 to what's it called, to 900. So I'll call this 1,000, 900, 1,000. Okay, let's see. Let me knock on. Okay, this is coming from 10,000 to, it's coming from 10,000. This is coming from 0 to 100. This is 1,000. This is coming from 10,000 to 9,000. All right. So this should be 10,000, and there is a comma there. All right, let's add our comma. This is what, $10,000. All right, 10,000. So we are supposed to have, if you watch here, we have 9,200 and so on and so forth. So we have to have 9,100. all right, it should be 9,200, 9,300. So basically I'll just be doing at least 9,400, 9,500, 9,600, 9,700. I think I've misarranged this. 9,800. 9,900. Alright, so this other one now, That is 10,000 should be at the first, right? I just basically rearrange it from here. So 100 and perfect. So once we have something like this now, I can we can align it to this edge. Yes, let them be aligned like this. All right, cool. Right, so this is what we're talking about. So since we have something like this now, and we have, so I can easily just put 10,000 here. Then when you start swiping and stuff, we keep swiping. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw a simple frame, and this frame is going to look like this, not more than this actually. And this my entire tool will go inside of it. No, not to Ctrl Z. My entire from will go inside of this frame 12. So this frame 12 is because it has clip content. It does not have clip content, you'll not be able to cut it off. So I have clip content there. Then this frame, let me even give it the color. So basically this is the frame. In fact, let me do this again just in case you're finding it confusing. Let me ungroup this. Ungroup. Okay, so this is it now. So we have two. So what I want to do is I want to create a very small frame, just like this. Let me do it on that way. And let's give it a color. So you see the frame. So this is going to be a frame. So I'm going to drag this text now inside this frame, but it refuses to go in. So I'm going to move it manually and put it inside. So the moment it's inside now because of this frame here have the clip content. So anything outside it will not show. So I'm going to leave it like that so that the content is being clipped. Then this particular from now, I can now arrange it to the way I want it. But of course, this particular frame, I want to ensure that it have the ability to what? Cover everything, right? So this one now, I'll stretch it. Aha. So this is it now. I'll bring it to the top as well. So this is what we're talking about. So this is it. So at any point in time, I want like 10,000 to show. I will just hold down my shift and use my arrow key to move it up like this, and I'll leave it at what? 1,000 like this, or I bring it back to 0. You see it's now serving like as a counter. It looks almost like a counter. So basically this is how you create counters, right? So I will call this, so if I call this numbers, let me just call it numbers, then I'll call this one from, right? So this one that deserve the from name. So once I have this now, of course I don't always like it having a field, a container. So I just want that it's a container. I treat it as a container. So I will drag it now. I'll bring it inside here, and I would ensure that it's 10, and I'll put it there. So that is how we have our from card now, and it is aligned to the left. Then I will do the same thing for this as well, but in this case now, let me do something. In this case actually, and there's a plugin to do this. So in this case, I want the 10,000 to be first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my same frame again, just something not more than this, and give it Y just for it to be clear. And we're going to name this, let's leave it like this. I'm going to drag all of this inside of it, but it's not going to enter like that. So I'll move it from my layer here and put it inside, and I would ensure that everything is well placed. Perfect. And this other one too can also carry it as well. Perfect. Then these two now, I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it to the point where I have 10,000. All right, perfect. So that is it there. Then this stuff now, I move the field and I take this my tool. So let's call this one 2, and let's call this one what? Numbers, right? So can call it numbers. NO looks like no. Could be numbers like this, and let us name it well. So we have this like this. I can now move it to this particular point now, and look at it. Everything is there. Perfect. So basically, I also want to check this as well to ensure everything is perfect. I will reduce this height by 8. So reducing this stuff by 8 give me 113 or 11. 8. All right, this is cool. All right, so I have it like this now. So you see everything is, oops, this is not correct now. So this needs to be constrained to the right. Let's check this to the left. All right, everything should be cool now. So let's try this. Let's try our range card again. Our range card is perfectly responsive. So these are the things you want to actually try out. So you could see this range card is really responsive right now, and it's actually cool. It's actually cool to create an amazing responsive range card. So let's play it now. Let's play it, and I'll play this. So let's see what we have in here. So this is what we have, and it's cool. But of course, as you can see, I cannot move it from one point to another, right? I cannot like basically move it. So let's try and do that. So for us to do that is we need to create like different we need to make this now a component. So that's what I did. So I made it a component. So I created like 3 different components, right? So I would first and foremost, before I make it a component, I'll come here under my range, and inside of my range I would put this to the left, to the right, I mean this other one too, align it there. Then the top now, I'll stretch it. Permit me to stretch this. I'll hold alternate and shift as well. I'll stretch it to the end. Perfect. So this is what I'm talking about. I can still try to see if everything is responsive. It's still responsive, right? So I think it's either I overstretch this a bit because I can still see like I'm seeing one small color. All right, so everything is done perfectly now, well stretched. All right, okay, so everything is done perfectly well stretched. So this is how I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to make this a component. So the moment I make it a component, I would be able to add different variants to it, right? So since it's a component now, let's bring it outside here, and let me add variants to it. So I'm going to add like variant 1, and in my variant 1 now, let's call this one, let's call it from, actually. Let us call it from, right? So I want to assume this is where the first one is being stretched. So I'm going to look at the range, and in this range now, I'm going to like toggle the from one 4 times, 1 2 3 4 or 5. Let's make it 5. Then the top part of it as well, I'm going to stretch it as well, do it like this to this point. All right, cool. Then this number now, I'm going to like move it as well, 1 2 3 4 5, something like this. Then I'm going to go into the numbers now, and look at my numbers. Clicking on numbers here, I'm going to bring it down to 1000. All right, okay, 1000 is what I'm talking about. So that means in this particular stuff where you saw this 1000, that's how I did it. So yep, so let's go back to our work. So we've done from, so now someone can stretch from here to here to give you 1000, but in this particular case, this range here, this other range here now cannot be this other range now here, I want this to still to still be by that edge, right? So I'll select this here and I'll drag this back. Oh, sorry, I'm holding alternate by dragging it. All right, so I want it to look like this here. Perfect. So amazing. So and everything is well done. So I'll select this again, and I'll attempt to duplicate it to create another variant. So this other variant now, we'll call it the 2 variant. So I'll click on plus sign here, let us call it 2. It doesn't really matter what we call it actually. Then in this one now, I'm going to stretch it by 5 too as well. So under my range, So this range here, so 1 2 3 4 5, I'm holding shift, 1 2 3 4 5. All right, so in the numbers now, so these are the numbers. I want to bring this to 9,000. All right, 9,000. Oh, I guess I did not do 9,000. Okay, probably yours you can do 9,000. Let's end it at 9,100. I didn't like type 9,000. Or let's see if I can correct it now. Control D. All right, so this is the last one, right? So let me type 9,000 here. All right, perfect. Then, all right, we have everything going on fine now. So yeah, it's cool. So this other one, that's the top. Let's ensure that the top is also coming the way we want it to come to as well. So this should be like this. All right, perfect. So we have it like this. So it simply means that if I drag an instance of it, I put it here, I can change it from default to from, then from I can change it to as well, see, and everything will be just like perfectly nice, which is super cool. And so it's for us to do a little bit of prototyping, right? So I wouldn't want to do the prototyping now, but for the sake of this video, let me just complete it so that doing the prototyping part of it, you already see how I did the prototyping to ensure it works. So I'll move to prototype now. I'll move my design here, my workspace here to prototype. Then I can basically start dragging this. So what I'll do is I will go in here now, and I will go in here as well. So from here now, I'll click, I'll dump it here, and instead of instance, I'll put smart animate. And when I put smart animate, then instead of on click, I'll click on drag, right? So let's try it out. So this is what we've done. So if they drag it now, coming, I think it's still trying to load. Page is still trying to load. So let's ensure that the page is not trying to load again. Alright, so on drag, blah blah blah, it should come in there, auto animate. Okay, so let's see that now. Alright, let's do the other ones. On drag, then this one too. Let's go in there and select this other one to bring it here as well. On click, no. On drag, it will move to this particular part. Smart animate. Alright, cool. Then we could now take it back as well. These two as well. On click, no. On drag, take it back to this particular point. Then this point now we could also take it back here as well. On click, no. On drag. Alright, so this is what we have now. Let's play this. Oops, I went to replay, so let's just wait for it to load. Alright, so I love to put it at full width, and let's try it out now. See, so that's what we're talking about. So I can click here, I can drag it here, I can click here, I can drag it here, I can take it back, and I can take it back as well. So basically, so that's how it's done. Just to recap before I go, the way this stuff is being done, I'll go back to prototype again. So you select this first one, on drag, you bring it to the second one, you ensure that it is smart animate, you click here as well, you select, so this is how it's linked, just for you to see the linking from here to here, then from here back to here as well, from here to here, then from here back to here as well. You have like 1 2 3 4, right? It's being linked. So this from here linked to this one, and this one goes back, auto animate on drag, this comes here as well, and this from here is where go here, auto animate and drag. And that is how you have an amazing slider inside, range slider inside of Figma, right? And I think this is super great. So you can try this out on your own, just in case you're not able to like get it fully, and this will give you an idea on how to basically go about this kind of stuff. So thank you for watching this particular video. See you in the next video.